spiders. Because it's the black top.
Already?
No, we're on level L right now. So we're in 6th degree, which is heartbreaking. So what we've decided. Friends, I am in Phoenix, Arizona. You might remember this particular venue and this particular conference. So this conference is so special to me for 2 reasons, but both of them go back to my roots. My roots is photography. I was a photographer before people considered me a photographer, and I will always be a photographer, regardless of what people have to say about the issue. The camera comes from my heart, my hands, and my soul. So coming back and speaking to other photographers will always be a place that is so special. But the second reason why this conference is so special is because Showit, we go back. We've been working together now for over a decade, and the CEO and owner and founder, Todd Watson, is remarkable. He's inspiring, and the fact that I get to speak as a division on his stage is a blessing that I can't express how thankful I am. A little bit nervous. I think I'm radiating heat right now. JD's like, you need to calm down, like you're just sweating on your mic pack, and I was like, TMI, it's all good, but we're ready. We're ready for a good day. The club of Showit, thank you, I see you. Okay, my name is Jasmine Starr. I am so happy to be where I call home. Yes, I'm already liking the vibes. In this room, we are simply one and the same. We are a group of people, diehard artisans and creatives who are trying to pursue what we love. And in this room, we are one and the same. Because I can't help but feel that many times in our lives and businesses, we go to events like this, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the anomaly on the outside, and I kind of sort of felt like there was this totem pole of success. We come to these events, and we're like, oh, she has 15,000 followers on Instagram. Oh, she just got back from a wedding in Fiji. Oh, have you seen how cute his cats are? And what we do is we elevate people in our minds, but then there's other people, oh, he shoots on a Canon Rebel. We put people above and below, subconsciously and or consciously. But today, what I want it to be is different. Today in this room, more than anything, the thing that I would love to do is to take the totem pole of people above us and people below us, and what if we were to turn the totem pole on its side? And if I were to have this totem pole on its side and we make a circle, what we would then be is looking across at people and to the side of people asking, what can I do for you? How can my unique drive, personality, hustle, skill set help you get where you want to go? And perhaps maybe you can do the same for me. So here's the thing that I realized is that you could be an entirely different person. July 2017 and July 2018, the girl who looked in the mirror looked back at the other girl and said, I'm sorry I doubted you. Look what you can do in 12 months. I want you next year to look at yourself and say, I'm sorry I doubted you. You can do the thing you want to do. Do yourself the one greatest gift is what do you see yourself doing in 1 year that makes you wildly happy? Dream it and then create it. Because I have come to believe and know that our dreams are worth 5 minutes of our time. Every morning I wake up and for 5 minutes I have the ability to write down one of my dreams. And year after year after year I go back and I get to scratch it off. Why? Because you say it, you claim it, and then you get it, and you share with others and you bring them along the way with you. I'm gonna be talking about the 10 ways to jumpstart your business on Instagram. Why? It's the fastest growing social platform, has 1.1 billion people on it, so why not start here? Now let's talk about our love child, Instagram, and we're gonna break this down into 2 forms. 10 ways to jumpstart your business on Instagram, but I'm gonna talk about 5 ways pre-wedding. So, starting with our top 10 list, number 1, sending a wedding email to the vendors in advance. Here's why. We want to make sure that everybody knows what to expect on the wedding day. Why? Let me save you some time. The bigger the weddings get, the more chiefs, the more cooks there are in the kitchen. I arrived to a wedding and I realized that the florist brought their own photographer. Yeah. And as much as that ruffled me, I said, how can there be another photographer in my contract? It's denoted, I signed the contract with the bride, not with the florist. And then I was like, whoa, this is getting complicated. It wasn't the florist's fault to be informed about how I worked. It was my job to inform everybody what they could expect. And I'm gonna walk you through what that email will look like in a second, but let's get to the goods first. Second point, you're to jumpstart your business. In addition to letting your people know what they can expect, number 2 is I want you to list all of the Instagram info for all of the vendors. Now you might say, why should I do that? Because if it ain't you, it's not gonna get done. And it positions you in a benevolent position to do all of the hard work, getting everybody's handles. In the email, you list the handles, which gives us to point number 3. Point number 3 is I would love for you to include a list of hashtags in the pre-wedding email or the pre-family photo shoot. Now you're like, hashtags? Why am I gonna go and create hashtags? I have a hard time coming up with hashtags. If you have a hard time, the vendors have a hard time. Why not make it easier for them and be like, every time they work with you, oh, I have my social work done. So this is, people are like, but where do I go? How do I start? I'm gonna make it as easy as possible with what I call a hashtag equation. Let's break this down, this hashtag equation. I like to include 5 location-specific hashtags. So this is like Los Angeles wedding photographer, Los Angeles wedding photography. I want 5 state-specific hashtags because most of our audience is going to be driven extremely locally or at least within our state. So California wedding photography, California wedding photographer. Venue-specific hashtags. 4 Seasons Beverly Hills wedding, 4 Seasons Beverly Hills wedding photographer, 4 weddings wedding photography. 5 detail specific. Detail specific are things that the bride is wearing. Manolo Blahnik shoes, Vera Wang dress, things that you know are popular and searched for on Instagram. Now, if you're a family photographer, you can use hashtags according to what the child is wearing, the props that are brought, anything that's cute and snacks. If there's a puppy in the photo and there's a specific color, hashtag the color. What you're trying to do is create ways to come up with organic searches on Instagram. Vendor-specific hashtags, when you collaborate with other people who have their own hashtags, this is an amazing way to get into, somebody had previously talked about culture hacking. This is going to hashtag hack and create content as photographers for your vendors to exist in their hashtags so that when their early clients are looking for somebody to document their day, they can stumble across your work. We talk about jumpstarting our business. The way that we jumpstart is we end up in somebody else's feed unexpectedly. 5 is the big and small hashtags. These are like hashtag wedding with like millions that you probably may or may not be seeing, but it could be at some other point in time, randomly come up in a feed. And a small hashtag. A small hashtag would be related specifically to the wedding. Fifth and final point of jumpstarting the business, and that's to ask a videographer for behind the scenes footage. We all know that as photographers, we end up in the videographer's footage that usually ends up in the trash. What if you were to email them and say, how much would it cost for 2 to 3 15-second clips of me working with my clients? What you've just created is a 3-part Instagram story feature of you behind the scenes that then you can combine and put onto IGTV. So now we've done the heavy lifting, the 5 things to jumpstart your business before a wedding day or before a photo shoot. And now we're gonna get into point number 6. And this might seem counterintuitive to you, but trust me, this is a game changer. You bring out your iPhone, and as the florist delivers the bouquets to the bride and the bridesmaids, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Then you text it to the florist. Before the wedding ceremony, the coordinator's going around, can I have musicians? Can I have lights? Cute candles? And you show him or her in their business, and you text it to them. They put it on their stories immediately. What happens is that we as photographers, we're hardwired for this type of content, but other people are not. So when you give them content to share, and then they tag you and thank you for the content, you're jump starting your business.